Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 27 of the Renegade of Wrestling. I am your host, JJ Williams. Big shout out to Statboy for letting me know how many episodes this is for me, because I have freaking lost track. I can't remember how many I've done. I'm starting to get up there, you know, in numbers. Not quite as many as Jeff was with his other show, with that other company he was with, but, you know, starting to get up there a little bit. As y'all know, my format's changed a little bit in the last few weeks. I'm here to bring you the best of what went down in indie wrestling over the past few weeks. Excuse me, not over the past few weeks, but over the past weekend. First thing I'm going to talk about is Mach Pro Wrestling's Friday Fight Night, which apparently is the last one they're going to do for a little bit, because Mach is temporarily closing its doors while they relocate to another venue. The show we saw at the American Sports Center in Anaheim was the last one in their venue there. Not really sure as of yet where they're moving to, but hopefully this means bigger and better things for Mach Wrestling. Hopefully they'll even be able to bring in more people to the venue at this new place, because you couldn't really fit a whole lot of people into that sardine can that they called an arena in Anaheim, but it was home. Ridiculously big over Eric Cross and Johnny Suave, team that Statboy talked about a little bit on his episode this week. Big shout out to Cross and Suave for doing their thing against Biggie Big and Ridiculoso. Kind of bummed about Cross and Suave having to do the job there, but you know, a valiant effort by an awesome tag team. Like Statboy said, possibly one of the greatest tag teams on the indie scene right now. I definitely would put Cross and Suave up in the rankings along with Rock Nest Monsters, The Dynasty, who else do I want to throw in there? Natural Selection, The Tribe. Cross and Suave have what it takes to be on NWA Hollywood, and only time will tell if Mr. Marquez will throw them on there or not. Sean Ricker over Mikey O'Shea. Another one. This is a situation like Statboy was talking about with our boy Mikey. You know, he's a good friend of Jeff's, starting to become a good friend of mine, and we love seeing him. We popped for him because this was the second week in a row back at Mach 1 after about a 4 or 5 month absence. And so my whole section was just exploding for Mikey being back, but he was supposed to work heel, but I could see on his face that he was trying not to smile for all the love that he was getting. But as a heel, you know, he had to kind of give that dirty look at us like, why are you cheering me? You're supposed to boo me. We're cheering you because we love you, Mikey. No homo, you know. You're the homie. Chris Cadillac and Brian Weston over Angel and Luis Tapia. Angel, Luis, and Brian are all students of the Mach 1 training facility. Chris Cadillac is a young guy making his name on the local scene. If you have not heard of Chris Cadillac, make sure you look him up on YouTube. Dynasty versus the Super Smash Brothers was another awesome contest. Super Smash Brothers, I just got to get into this real quick. Player Uno and Player Dos, for what's a ridiculous video game gimmick. And from what I hear, they tore down the house in Reseda the next night against the Rock Nest Monsters, which is also a video game gimmick. But I marked out as soon as their theme music hit, because it was the old Mortal Kombat theme song from the movies. As soon as that gong went off, I knew exactly what song it was, and I was like already on my feet cheering for the Super Smash Brothers, and I didn't even know if they were good, if they sucked. Didn't know anything about them yet. But the Super Smash Brothers are definitely another team y'all need to look into if you've not heard of them. Player Uno, Player Dos have been making their name on the West Coast this past weekend, and from what I read, they have another match booked this coming Saturday down in Oceanside for SoCal Pro. So apparently the Super Smash Brothers are doing big things on the West Coast now, starting to, excuse the pun, start a dynasty here on the West Coast. You know, main event, Nick Madrid, who you saw the Dad's on Wrestling interview about a week ago, versus Kyle Webb. Awesome match. I was a little bit bummed it ended in a DQ, but you know, it is what it is. Overall, the Mach 1 show, give about 3.5, 4 stars, 2 out of 5 stars. It was a really solid top to bottom card. I only didn't touch on one match because all the rest of them were epic. They were great matches. It takes me over to Battleground Pro Wrestling, Southgate Under Siege, which was this past Saturday night in, where else? Southgate. The first couple matches were kind of weak. You know, no disrespect to any of the Battleground guys. Maybe it was the new location. Maybe it was the crowd isn't the same crowd you usually draw in Los Alamitos. But it seemed like there was a bit of a hard time getting the crowd involved in the first two matches. Which sucked because my boy, Famous B, jerked the curtain at Battleground against Seville Alvarez. And he defeated him. Nobody really cared though, except for like me, Jeff, and Jade. We were like totally marking for B, and the rest of the crowd was just kind of quiet, like, who the fuck are you guys? Foob Dog over Pinky was the second match, and again, everybody was dead. It took Foob Dog woofing throughout the match to try and get the crowd into it. And Pinky, poor Pinky, he was doing his best to get over as this monster heel and just couldn't seem to find his rhythm that night. Again, maybe it was the new location, maybe it was the crowd the location brought in, but those two matches just kind of fell flat. It wasn't until the Fugitives and Robbie Phoenix took on Tito Escondido and the Black Knights that the place really started to pop, because that was an awesome six-man tag team match with Tito Escondido and the Black Knights coming up on the short end of the stick there, getting screwed. Black Knights, I've become a fan of yours really quickly out through the two Battleground shows that I've been to. I see big things in the future for the Black Knights, and I honestly think that if the Black Knights could get a manager under their belt, they could go many places. They would be an unstoppable duo. Intermission came, and then after intermission we had Johnny Plinko, Jeff Meacham's new favorite wrestler, Alexis Derevko, and Sheik Abadi. Very, very fast-paced three-man match, triangle match, however you want to call it. It was really good. Johnny Plinko impressed the hell out of me and Jeff. Johnny Plinko even gave Jeff his name tag, because he came out with like the big old Price is Right name tag, you know, announcing who he was. His theme song was the Price is Right showcase theme. Dun, 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 dun. Freaking epic. The minute the music hit, Jeff heard the song. It was like, I see what you did there. Plinko, Price is Right, name tag. It fits now. I get it. Jeff just started marking out, and like I said, he got to leave with the name tag. Jeff Meacham's new favorite wrestler, Johnny Plinko. Google him. Ring Warrior Championship was on the line. Ray Rosas defending against, let me see if I can remember all the people in this match, because it was a six-man match. Ray Rosas defending against Lucha Machine, Jeremy Yeager, Brandon Peanut, Chris Cadillac, and I'm blanking on the last name, but it doesn't matter because that dude didn't win anyways. Ray Rosas was able to successfully defend his title against all six challengers in an elimination match nonetheless. Lastly, defeating his Silverheart Radicals tag team partner Lucha Machine. Again, very, very fast-paced, very, very awesome match. Again, I know I keep saying this, but I'm talking indie wrestling to a bunch of people that don't really know about the SoCal indie scene. So, Lucha Machine, Ray Rosas, Chris Cadillac, Google them. Ray Rosas and Lucha Machine, aka the Silverheart Radicals out of the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy. Awesome tag team. Brings us to Mikey O'Shea, Mikey Callahan in this federation, against Rico Dynamite. Mikey defending his Battleground Heavyweight Championship, and again, this is part of where I have the problem at other feds, because Mikey's a babyface here, but a heel just about everywhere else I've seen him. So it's kind of hard sometimes to, you know whether you're supposed to boo him or cheer him when you go to one show one day and he's a face, and you go to a show the next day and he's a heel. But Mikey and Rico put on an awesome match. Battleground's next show is in 2 weeks on September 24th in Los Alamitos at the American Legion Post. I will be there, Jeff will be there, Jade will be there, and Statboy may even be making his Battleground debut that day. So if you're in the SoCal area, come out and check it out there. You won't be disappointed. Last but not least, yesterday, September 11th, was the latest tapings for NWA Hollywood. Awesome show. Awesome show. I'm not going to go over too many of the matches here because 4 hours worth of wrestling action, 4 episodes of TV, going to be broadcast on KDOC in Los Angeles. And if you don't get it, NWAHollywood.com. So I'm not going to give away all the spoilers because I want to make you guys go to the website or DVR it starting this Saturday at its new time, 4 o'clock, and check it out. But you had Scrap Iron Adam Pearce versus Eric Watts for the NWA Championship. You had Ray Rosas challenging Scorpio Sky for the International Television Championship. You had the Super Smash Brothers challenging the Tribe for the NWA Heritage Tag Team Championships. Famous B versus James Morgan was an epic contest. You had 2 awesome women's matches. Women's wrestling that would put the fucking Divas champion to shame. New York Knockout Nikki taking on the Fabulous Thunder Kitty. And you had Nicole Hollywood versus our homegirl Lucky O'Shea. And if you haven't gone out and gotten one of these 8x10s for her yet, y'all are missing out on something, because look at this. Look at this. That's all I gotta say.
Damn.
Extreme close-up.
I'm going to hell.
For Renegade of Wrestling this week, I am your host, JJ Williams, and I will be back next week with more indie results, hopefully. Until then, see you around.